Yes, you guys, welcome back. I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lines TV, and today I'm here to bring you guys another News Daily video. This time we're going to focus on 3 stories for today. They are going to be on the latest news surrounding Declan Rice, Tammy Abraham, and Donnarumma from AC Milan. So we have a ton of things to break down, discuss, and speak about for today, you guys. However, before I get into anything, 2 quick plugs out the way first. For the first plug, if you like today's video, then smash the like button. I want to target 4,000 likes for today's video. And for the second plug, you guys, today's video was brought to you by the OneFootball app. Download the OneFootball app right before the season does start, right before our first pre-season game against Brighton earlier today at 3 PM, free and live on the 5th Stan app. So you guys, you can use the app to get the latest stats based on that game. I'm telling you, it's very interactive, it's very convenient. Check out for yourselves. You'll find a link below in the description. Now, to start off the first story for today, I want to speak about these latest reports surrounding Tammy Abraham and a potential move back to Aston Villa. Now, reports from the Daily Mail have stated that Aston Villa are considering signing Tammy Abraham again to help lead them up front for next season. Now, already, the information states that Tammy, of course, has rejected that proposal. He wants to stay at this club, he wants to fight for his place, he wants to prove everyone wrong, the doubters, etc, etc. And of course, this means that Aston Villa are now turning their attention to Ollie Watkins from Brentford. Now, there was a reason why I made this story the first one for today, and that's because I want to spend more detail and focus more on the other stories in today's video. You know, reading this story, it got me thinking, we're in a market right now, an English market right now, where Harry Maguire costs 85 million. We've seen Ben Chilwell originally valued at 80 million, bought for 50 million. We're seeing that Lewis Dunk was valued at 50 million, and Aston Villa themselves want 80 million just to release Jack Grealish. So it gets me thinking, what type of offer and what type of bids were Aston Villa even considering to make for Tammy Abraham? Now, I know some people in the fan base might value him at 30 million, but that makes absolutely no sense. He's 22 years old, he's scored 18 goals in the Premier League, non-penalty goals too, and I don't know, I feel like as a fan base, we haven't really been as supportive towards Tammy Abraham or most of these young players at times. I think we have to remember this was Tammy's first season playing for us, making that massive step up from Aston Villa in the Championship to a top 4 club in the Premier League. And I think he passed that test, you guys. You know, I look at the goals he scored, I see that variety in the goals. You know, I see the important goals scored, I see the match-winning goals, I see the goals against the top 6, decisive goals at decisive moments. He has that in his locker, and we have to remember, one thing we can never ever forget is that he is developing as a player. Tammy Abraham has always been a traditional poacher style striker, but of course, to play at this club, to play at this level, you need to have more to your game, you need to have more to your arsenal. And Tammy Abraham has made small improvements to his overall game. You know, he was never a guy that would just, you know, hold off defenders and look to link the play up. He'd be someone on the defensive line waiting to time his runs to escape his defenders. You know, he'd be inside the box looking to bury opportunities. And this season for us, he's been playing a lot deeper at times. We've seen his great defensive work for the team. We've seen his ability to play people into, and we've seen some decent link-up play at times for someone that is still 22 and hasn't fully developed in their bodies just yet. So for me, 18 non-penalty goals is unreal, and it just tells me that if he can do that in his first ever season for us, what else can he do in the 3rd season, the 4th season, etc, etc. Tammy has that mentality. It was that same mentality, unfortunately, which maybe, you know, devalued him to some supporters' eyes. That noticeable period during February where Tammy was injured, he had an ankle injury, he had to play through the pain, instead of being praised for his ability to put his body on the line. One thing that us fans constantly stick on players for, Tammy does that, and instead, that was used against him as he wasn't good enough, we need to move him on, and is he even a top 4 level player? You know, these are things I strongly am against. I'm about supporting these guys. I've been watching them since they were young. I'm seeing the developments, the positive ones in their game. Let's be patient. Tammy Abraham is going to surprise some people for next season. But for me, you guys, by the time he's 24, 25, 26, we're going to see a very serious striker on our hands. And now, we move on to the second story today, and I want to speak about the latest news surrounding Declan Rice, and is he going to sign for us in this window? Now, this story has come from notable accounts on Twitter. It's come from other media sources in this country as well. And to give you guys a quick recap, of course, these articles start off by mentioning things we already know. For example, we know that Lampard is a big fan of Rice. We know that Lampard would use him as a centre-back. We know that West Ham won a ton of money just to sell him in the first place. But you guys, one thing I've consistently said, this window is purely about timing. Timing. West Ham, as I've told you guys before, and as it was confirmed today too, they have financial worries. They've been looking to get rid of players like your Yarmolenkos, your Philippe Andersons, your Lanzinis, but due to the COVID climate, it's not really a buyer's market right now. West Ham are struggling to offload those players so they can reinvest in their team because they need a new striker, left back and midfield player. And at this point in time, it seems like there's absolutely nothing they can do to get those targets done. For me, you guys, I felt like there is a possibility that we can sign Declan Rice. Of course there is. Most of that comes down to how West Ham play ball. Now ideally, I think if you look at some of the players that surplus requirements at our club, well, I could see them upgrading that West Ham team. I'm looking at players like your Drinkwater's, your Michy Batshuayi's, even maybe an Emerson and Alonso. I'm seeing players that we have that could benefit West Ham and bring the overall price down with Declan Rice. Personally, I do feel like maybe Declan might have to apply some pressure to the West Ham board. Now, when we signed Ben, a lot of that came down to the fact that Ben publicly told, Rodgers and the Leicester board, I want to go. I'm annoyed that I'm not allowed to leave. We don't have UCL football. It's my right, etc., etc. And that was one of the main ways how he was able to secure his move. Now, Declan Rice, he's a very nice guy. And I'm telling you guys that he's a very friendly and literally the definition of down to earth. He doesn't want to disrespect the West Ham board and most importantly, the West Ham fans. So for him, he needs timing of his own needs. It comes down to West Ham and how willing they are to accept reality. Right now, they aren't going to sign any players. There's no money to sign anyone. And selling Declan Rice for less than the ridiculous 80 million or even 65 million they think they're going to get for him could be their way to be competitive and remain in the Premier League. Because if they were to get relegated again, you guys, that is just gonna really screw up West Ham. So I feel like there's a possibility this deal could be done. It fully depends on so many circumstances, like how the season starts, how West Ham cope, etc., etc. But there is a small possibility Declan Rice could be another addition to this team this summer. Honestly, you guys, this crazy window ain't stopping anytime soon. To move on to the third, final big story today, I want to speak about the latest news surrounding Donnarumma and potential links with our club. Now, reports in Italy and other media sources are stating that we are turning our attentions back to Donnarumma. Now, the main reason for this is that we had our recent bid for Mendy from Rennes rejected. It seems like Rennes want double that money at around nearly 30 million. We aren't looking to play ball in that area, and the club are thinking, well, if Rennes want this much money for him, maybe it makes sense to turn towards maybe someone we feel more confident in, someone that has long-term appeal, someone that could be a long-term investment as well. Donnarumma from AC Milan. Now, interestingly, he only has 1 year left from his current deal before being available on loan. But the only issue is, you guys, his agent is Mino Raiola, and you have to understand with Raiola, he has not had a good relationship with this club for a long time, and with how we dealt with him in regards to Lukaku, that was a straw that broke the camel's back. After that moment, we haven't done anything and he hasn't pushed any clients towards us. Now, you guys, in steps a certain Petr Cech, who is now our technical advisor at this club. I'm hearing that he has a massive reputation already. Agents, who have their clients who are presenting their players to him are very impressed by his demeanor and how he carries himself. I'm even hearing too, you guys, the infamous Scott McCackelen. It does seem like maybe his days could be potentially numbered. I'm hearing that there's strong interest from many clubs in the MLS League, and there's a possibility now that he could be moved on and sold. We don't necessarily need him in that sense. I thought his transfer policy wasn't really the best, and maybe he played a part in setting us back a tiny bit too. But you guys, the question is, can Petr Cech form that good relationship with Mino Raiola to get a deal like this done? Now, from what I'm hearing, there could be some potential positivity behind this. All I'm hearing is that Raiola has been impressed by Cech, and that tells me that talks could happen. if both parties sat down and negotiated and worked on a fee. Now, if we were to sign Donnarumma in this market, maybe that would imply that we couldn't sign a Declan Rice as well. I do personally feel like one big signing, either in defence or as a goalkeeper, won't happen until following windows, so I feel like we have one big buy left in us for this current window. I do think that Donnarumma is very ambitious, but we've been ambitious this entire window. Our window has been the pure definition of ambition. I do think that a deal could be done if things worked out. Personally, I do think that the player has a year left. Maybe I would spend the time with Mino to, work on a future contract for when that period's over. Work on a deal that prevents him signing a new contract to AC Milan. I think that makes more sense. That way we could target a lesser goalkeeper alongside a Declan Rice and get our business done. And obviously kickstart the other season with a move already in place for Donnarumma. Anyway, you guys, I'm going to continue on, and I'm going to continue on with some other goalkeeping updates that I've been hearing. From what I'm hearing right now, our budget is set at between 20 to 25 million to sign a goalkeeper in this window. Now, could that potentially mean that we offered maybe 25 million for Donnarumma, as well as offering a player to AC Milan? We know that Emerson right now, his move to Inter is stalling. We know that they've shown so much interest in our players too. We are currently working alongside them when it comes to offering them Bakayoko on loan. So is there potential for business to be done? Let's keep an open perspective. Honestly, nothing is impossible in this window, you guys. But to go back to what I was saying earlier, the three main keeper names I've been hearing are Mike Maignan from Lille, Mendy from Rennes, and as a last resort backup, a loan move for Areola from Real Madrid. So the club are definitely assessing options right now. I know that Maignan might be a bit more popular right now compared to Mendy's and other players. I'm hearing that Lille are very open to selling him because they already have a replacement in their ranks already. Maignan is rated in Ligue 1. He's going to one day become a potential France international goalkeeper. On top of that as well, he's very good with his hands, very good aerially. I think he could be better with his feet. I think his passing could be a bit better. But for a good price for a young goalkeeper, a possible French international who would most definitely become one if he signed for us, he could be a decent signing to make. But anyway, you guys, that was the news for today. Later on, you guys come back to Blue Lions TV. I'll have the match review out for our pre-season friendly game against Brighton. But on that note, I'm going to wrap things up and keep things moving. Thank you for watching. I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos.